Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I am Rev No Shorty. We're going to look at a new Star Trek book today, The Last Starship, or technically The Last Starship. It's all one word, and I don't mind it. Honestly, when I saw that, I thought, that's just undeniably cool. Probably says a lot about me and what I find cool. I literally work in a comic book store, hang out with the role players, and have a degree in history. I am far from anyone's idea of cool, but I still found that cool. Doesn't mean I was automatically on board, though, simply because I've in my entire life been into the whole bunch of different IPs. As a kid, I was probably more into He-Man and Mobile Armored Strike Command than most other kids were. I obviously Transformers was cool, and Thundercats was kind of cool, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then Star Trek and Star Wars and all these things. But I've not really carried any of them with me in any kind of real way. I will dip in and out of them. I'm quite enjoying some of the Star Trek stuff the past few years, although Strange New Worlds has let me down a little bit. But I thought, yeah, you know what? Of all the stuff I have kind of enjoyed, there's not much that I've really engaged with as much as either Star Trek or the Turtles. And I've said before, I really have been enjoying the IDW Turtles stuff. So it's like, yep, okay, let's go for the Star Trek. Let's give The Last Starship a go. Thoroughly helped by having Kelly and Lansing on it, because I've read a bunch of stuff by those two very specific creators working together, and they always impress me. Not necessarily to the point of oh my god, mind-shattering, earth-moving comic book I've got to tell every single person and their dog about it, but they always do better than I thought they were going to do with stuff that sometimes I don't think I'd be into. This, I thought I'd be into it, and they still managed to go higher. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of it comes down to the visuals as well. And it's something which I thought would be quite hard to do, because Star Trek, kind of as an IP, is very cool and crisp. It is very smooth line. It is very, well, nicely coloured, nicely lit, all very soft focus. There's a whole visual aesthetic about it, which when you see TV shows and movies which are clearly trying to ape it or to copy it, you can see how they do it. This goes another way. It is very deep, very dark, very rich colouring. There's also this fantastic thing where they manage to, using nothing but just coloured ink on a page, make stuff glow. In this particular case, a rather beautiful, sickly green. Something about it is just unsettling, but almost pervasive, like it's on everything, because it's how light works. It just reflects off things. But honestly, how well it's used in this is brilliant. The art style itself is kind of loose, kind of scratchy, but again, the kind of stuff I really, really like. But when there is big action sequences, no expense spared. It looks brilliant, it looks beautiful. But it also looks dangerous in a way that Star Trek usually doesn't. The use of colouring and that kind of danger and the hyperkinetic style they use for it, the thing that was going through my head when I was reading it the first time and flicking through it the second time before the review was, this reminds me of something like if the people who made the Dread movie made a Star Trek TV series, this is what it'd look like. And the moment that thought hit me, it was like, oh, that's why I like it. That is exactly a kind of visual aesthetic that's pleasing to me in a universe where it wouldn't usually fit, but I think would look spectacular. The story does an awful lot that I like. I think it's only let down by one thing, and it is very much one of those core reasons why I don't get too into IPs for a very long period of time. The stuff I do like about it is where it fits in the timeline. They do a very good job of picking out a moment within the Star Trek Discovery universe where it gives a lot of room for them to tell the kind of stories that don't really need to be bogged down by continuity. They don't need to be going through the lore bible for every single character. It is a kind of open area where not much has been touched on, and it gives them the freedom to tell bold stories which involve an awful lot of things going terribly wrong, knowing that the repercussions are only really going to be within this series and stuff that we already know about. It's really, really well done. Fantastic characters, a whole bunch of really nice, really well realised characters in the first issue. The council of which sets me up really wanting to know who these people are, why they were Starfleet, what was going on before them, how they're going to respond to the new status quo. All of it done brilliantly, introducing some fantastic new ideas for characters. The sickly green probably gave away that the Borg is going to turn up at some point, but even that is done in an interesting way, along with the Gorn showing growth and change, so they're not just in that kind of old stale way that an awful lot of IPs want you to imagine their characters, in that evergreen kind of way, which can be very frustrating. And then it goes and, in my opinion at least, spoils it a little bit by putting Kirk in it. And it feels unnecessary. It feels like just going back to the whole reason why I don't like this kind of thing, where it's no matter how bold the storytelling is, no matter how cool the core idea might be, there's still going to be that fan service of, yeah, but wouldn't it be cool if Kirk was in it? And for me, I'm just like, no, it isn't. I actually would prefer if he didn't turn up. I really like what they're doing in the story. I like the new characters they've created, and I want to see them be the heroes of the story, because Kirk's already a hero. He's been a hero, he will always be a hero, we don't need him to be a hero again. Sigh. That's it for me today, though. Until I see you all again, look after you, everyone. Stay safe. Bye!